we're going to be talking about how to get shit done, because one of the things that people with ADHD struggle with a lot, sometimes even if we know what we need to do and we know why we need to do it, we still struggle to do it. There's like this barrier that happens sometimes, that mode, that mental mindset, because essentially what it feels like is, if you guys are board gamers, which I know there's a couple of you, it's like called analysis paralysis. And there's just so much to do and you know everything that needs done, but you can't figure out exactly what to do when. I'm going to give you like a list of things that kind of help me and break it down into like separate little pieces for you, because it's hard and not everything is going to work for one person. So I'm going to try to give you guys as much information as I can. Motivation. Tapping into the motivation of why you want to do the activity is helpful. And I like to always write it down. Why do I want to do this? Tapping into that and being able to figure that out is really big in being able to do or start any task for anybody, even neurotypical people. I don't really want to do this, but it is important because of this. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's important because of this. So that's a lot of the times that holds you back, is like if something doesn't make sense or you don't want to do it because it doesn't provide you dopamine to do that task. If you can figure out the why and the motivation, sometimes you can push yourself to get tasks done and say, okay, well, I'm going to do it because it's important to my spouse or my roommate, or I'm going to do it because I want whatever is going to happen. I want my meeting to go successfully. Or things like exercising, which is really hard. It's like, I'm so tired, but I know exercising will make me feel better. A lot of times it's hard for us, even if we know the motivation, to kickstart us. I'm big on writing things down and making lists, but even when I make lists, it's still so freaking hard. So what I'll do is I'll take items off my list and I will make a secondary list. And I will break that item down onto a new list. I'll start it as like the bullet point, the head of a list, and it'll be one of the things on my list. And I'm like, okay, let me break this one thing down into 5 or 6 different things. Like, what are the steps to doing this one thing that's on this list? Sometimes I will even do like sub lists, and then I'll break those sub lists down into further sub lists, because I will break things down until they feel doable. Like when it's something that if you eventually get to the point that it's so easy, you're like, okay, I'll do one of these things. In that first step, breaking that barrier is really huge. Like being able to just do that first step and sometimes project you down to the path of like, okay, that wasn't so bad. I'll do one more. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And so you're doing like micro items on the list. You're doing like little things on the list. And so as you're knocking out these little things that are like, you've shrunk down to be so small that you can do them, you get inertia. So objects in motion tend to stay in motion. And it's kind of similar for people with ADHD. Like when we start cleaning, we go down this rabbit hole of cleaning, and we may not always finish cleaning the first thing we're cleaning, but we end up cleaning 10 other things while we're cleaning. So just getting that inertia and being able to get your wheels moving is super huge. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes it's not though. Like I said, none of these things are universal. None of these things are going to work for everybody. But the next thing you want to think about is your environment. So your environment is going to affect your capability to do or start any task that you're struggling with. Am I getting enough sleep? Am I eating enough? Am I eating the right foods? Sometimes you just need to tidy up the space that you're in to help you be ready to start a new task or be able to work on a list. Are you being supported? Who do you need to reach out to for support? Setting up your environment to be able to do these things is huge. If your desk is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. And our desks are always cluttered. So sometimes taking the time to clean up the space you're in, sometimes same thing with our internal, like our nutrition, our sleep, getting those things aligned to help make initiating tasks easier. Again, none of these are going to fit perfectly, but a combination of these things I hope work for some of you. So one of the things that holds me back a lot when I have tasks and stuff is fear too. So finding ways to get through that fear. If you have things on your list that you fear, it can be really, really hard. It's too hard. I'm not going to do well. I'm never going to do this thing perfectly. A lot of times we strive for perfection. And I say this so much, I need a t-shirt that says it. Stop striving for perfection. Strive for improvement. Striving for perfection is going to disappoint you. It's really going to let you down. But striving for improvement is doable. Like, that is an achievable goal. Striving for perfection is going to frustrate you. It's going to make you apprehensive to start tasks. You're not going to want to start something if you're afraid that you're going to be shitty at it, or you're afraid that it's going to be too hard. Sometimes a support system around you, having people just tell you that, like, hey, just do it. Like, you can do this, is enough, and it's helpful. But sometimes that's not enough, you know? But getting over that fear is going to be something that's definitely going to help you guys. Jump starting your brain is something else I do. You guys know I do co-working, and I also use the Pomodoro method. I consider both of those things ways to jumpstart my brain. Body doubling, co-working is a great way. Listening to music, putting on music that gets you like in the mood to work or start something. Using the Pomodoro method, using timers can be really, really helpful. Because again, I'm not here to tell you guys how to complete tasks. Pomo is one of the best things I've discovered. Oh, I'm so glad. Like, when people say that makes my heart so happy. But you're not here to be perfect, and the discussion tonight is not on how to finish things, because typically if we can get into it and we can start it, a lot of times we will finish it because we'll be excited. We'll think it's really fun or cool. But you get in this stuck, like you get in this goop. You almost feel like you're stuck in some goop. It's like, how do I get out? How do I get out of this goop? How do I get my feet moving? And so those are the best tips I have for you guys. It's like micro list. Break things down until the list has tasks so small and so easy that you can't have a reason not to do them. Make sure you have the motivation. Know what your end goal is. Know why you're doing what you're doing. If you can't like pinpoint your motivation, I always write it down too. Like, write down my motivation. Setting up your environment for success, getting sleep and nutrition, making sure you have support systems, breaking out of fear, not telling yourself you're going to fail, not telling yourself something's too hard, because if somebody can do it, you can do it. I mean, if other people are capable of doing something, it might take practice. You can do it. The fear of like wanting everything to be perfect is terrible. And then putting systems in place like Pomodoro method, body doubling, co-working, to help your brain, support your brain, really. Support your brain, and it's really important. Because when you can do these things, you can unstick yourself. Yeah, exactly. Because it's the same way. An object in motion stays in motion. Like, working on something, your feet are gonna be moving, but doom spirals the same way. When you start down that hole of like, this is too hard, I can't do this, I'm gonna fail, I have too much on my plate, you end up kind of spiraling down the negative side of things, where you're like, okay, I can't do these things. I'm not because I can't do one thing, I can't do anything. Because I'm not capable of accomplishing this thing, I'm not capable of accomplishing anything. And that's why I say break stuff down into super small micro lists, because you're capable of doing it. You just have to figure out how to do it. And we may have had bad experiences. Like, we've had a lot of life experiences in our lives that give us this idea that we're not capable and we can't do things, but we're capable of a shit ton, guys. Like, our brains are monsters, in a good way and a bad way. But yeah, getting out of your own head is sometimes really hard, because we struggle, and it's okay to struggle with stuff. It's okay to struggle, and it's okay to talk about those struggles, because when you talk about them, people can chime in and they can tell you what's helped them. And nothing's going to be the same for everybody. All our brains are very diverse and very different. So asking for suggestions, asking for help is probably my favorite thing to do. Like, when I struggle and I can't figure something out, I ask for help a lot. And sometimes it's frustrating, I'm sure, to the people I ask for help for, because sometimes I still don't end up accomplishing the task. But I'm never afraid to ask for help, because I know that they're my friends and I know that they understand. So that's what our community is here for as well. It's like, if you guys need help or you guys need advice, don't be afraid to ask for help. And maybe not everything that people are going to suggest will work for you, but hopefully one or two things that people are suggesting or talking about will help and can help you push through and figure stuff out. And I appreciate all of you guys, because you guys are the ones who make it that way. Even when I was out of town and not able to like respond as much to people, it was so cool to watch everybody else in the community jump in and celebrate people's victories and talk about different things. It makes my heart really warm. It means that what we're doing is working, and what I'm trying to do here with my little corner of Twitch is working. And we're growing. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but we're growing all the time. And the people who join in and are a part of our crew and part of our community, they're sinking right in. Like, I think they're recognizing very quickly what we're about and what we're doing here, and I love it. Like, I cannot tell you guys how much I love it. This is something I've worked really, really hard at, and something that I'm really, really proud of. And it wouldn't be possible without all of you guys.